So welcome back. Today we are going to learn about the functions in Python. Okay. So what is a function? A function is a block of code used to design a perform specific tasks. Okay. For example, you have a task to add a number, multiply a number, then you have a task for division a number. Okay. So that can be done with the help of functions. Okay. So why we are using function? Because it helps us to use the same code for different programming. Okay, we just have to call the functions. We don't have to type again and again the same thing. We can use these functions in the entire code. Okay, but the catch is you have to use the function name correctly. Okay, so let's see the syntax of function. First, whenever you create a function, just remember you have to create with a def keyword. Okay, this one is your def keyword. Whenever you start a function, you have to create with def. For example, you are creating a function for greeting to a person. So this is your keyword, declares the function, and this is a function name, function greet. That means you are making a function to greet a person. Clear? So, and as always, this function need to be end with colon. Okay, why colon? To define that it is a function. Okay, the next is your indent body. This is your statements. Okay, under the functions it will have a statements. Okay, so once you created a function and also you have created a statement, you need to call the function. Okay, here is the calling def greet. Okay, the moment you write greet, you can see this name, function name, while calling you have to pass the same. Okay, it's not that you create here with small letter GREET and you pass here capital letter GREET, then it won't work. Okay, so the moment you write this one def greet and run your Python program, it will say hello students. Okay, you can see hello students. Okay, so just remember the function name. Before the function name there is a def keyword. Okay, for example, you are creating a function for adding a two number. What do you write? Def add. Okay, so this is a function without a parameter. Okay, you can see this one is empty without a parameter. Okay, this one is called empty functions. Okay, now you can see how it works. This def greet name, okay, the name will pass here. You can see here name. Okay, and this one is the actual parameter. This one is your, this one is a parameter, and this one is your argument. Okay, you can see the difference. This one is parameter, this one is argument. The actual things you are passing to the program is called your argument, and this one is your reference, that is your parameter. Okay, def greet name, print hello name, this one is your statement, and this one is your function call. Why function call is needed? Because you have created a function definition, so function call is needed. Okay, def greet name, then greet Wasim. So this Wasim will replace with the parameter. You can see here this one, it will pass and it will replace with the parameter. Clear? Now you can see the next questions, that is to add to number. Okay, so our def is our keyword that always use as a def in function. Add is your function name and AB will be your parameter. Why parameter? Because in definition we call it as parameter. Okay, then print a plus b, this is your statement that is performing calculation a plus b. Okay, and this is your function call, this is your function call fc, just remember fc. Okay, function call. So now you can see here we are passing the actual number 10, 20. Okay, and these are called arguments, arguments, and this one is parameter. Parameter is the reference value, where this one is the actual value. Okay, clear? Now let's see the return mechanism. Okay, def add AB, return A plus B. Okay, you can see here, before we are using print A plus B. Print A plus B will only print the result, whereas return A plus B will return the values to the memory. Okay, remember, print will just print the result, whereas return will pass the value to the computer memory. Okay, so you can see result at 10 comma b. You can see the difference here. Okay, we are adding here at 10 comma b, that means 10 comma 20. Here we are writing result equal to at 10 comma 20. Fine, we are storing in a result. Okay, and this result will store in your computer memory. Okay, fine. Before, here we don't have, we just printing the output. Okay, it doesn't have a variable, that will store in a computer memory. Whereas when you use return function, what it will do, it will have a variable that will store in your computer memory. Why it need? Because you can use multiple times. Okay, you can use this as multiple times in different programs. That's why return is very important. Until and unless there will be no return, you cannot use this in your other programs. Fine, you can see the return keyword sends a value back to the program and stored in a variable. It doesn't just show, it gives it. That means it is not just for showing purposes, it is for storing the value in your memory also. Okay, look, the difference between print and return. Print will just display the output to the human user, whereas return will send back to the program memory. Okay, like shouting into a void, that is empty room. The sound is heard and then gone. The computer cannot use this value later. As I have explained, it cannot be used later. It will just show for once. Whereas in return function, you can handle over a physical package. The computer receive and value can be stored, and it can be used for future calculations. As I have said, it can be reused. Okay, that's why return is more powerful as compared to print. Okay, though both have different functions, but return is more appropriate in terms of function. Okay, so here is a rule of thumb: use print to use return to keep. If you want to keep, okay, for example, you are making a function program that can be used and reused again and again, then you will use return. Okay, and if you are using for the one time only, then you can use print as usual. Clear? So these are some of the parameters. Okay, default parameters. Now let's talk about the default parameters. Okay, here you can see, previously here we are not passing anything, a parameter function with out parameter, whereas talking about a parameter, here you can see default parameter. Okay, def grade name equal to student, hello name. Okay, so what it will do, call with no argument greet. When you call this one, it will print hello student. Why student? Because we have passed a default. Okay, then we can print as greet Rahul, then Rahul will print. Why? Because we are passing the value. Okay, you can see here the difference. Greet, that is without argument, still it will print student, it will take us the default one. Okay, whereas when you greet Rahul, it will print Rahul. Okay, so what it happened, default values prevent errors when arguments are missing. Here you can see arguments are missing, right? But still it is printing, right? Here the arguments are not missing, so it will print anyway. Clear? So here are the four functional programmings. Okay, four pillars of functional programmings. Okay, first is code reuse, write once, use everywhere. Okay, since I have explained this one, so function in Python programming is very important because we don't have to write the code again and again. Okay, we don't have to repeat the code if you are using functions. Clear? Second is easy debugging. Since function, we have multiple blocks of code. Okay, we are not writing the code 1 to 1000 line in one go. Okay, in function we are writing in a block. So if there is any error, we can check that error in a block. Okay, in a specific block. Better readability. Why better readability? Because we are writing in a block. Okay, one block one block, two block, three block, and so on. So the readability increases. Okay, if you write all in one line code, then you will get confused in which line you are getting an error. Last is save time. Why save time? Because we are writing in a block. Okay, so this block can be reused here, this block can be reused here. Okay, whenever, just we have to call the function name. Function name is important. Just use the function name, then it will run for every program. Okay, this is the definitions of functions and some of the examples we have seen through the slides. So in the next class I will show you practically how it works. Okay, till then, goodbye.